Hi guys, and welcome to my kitchen. Today I am going to be showing you a recipe for pretzel buns. Now I really love this one because not only are pretzel buns just super tasty and delicious and a fun way to elevate any kind of sandwich that you're doing, it's also just like really impressive when you pull this off. And it's really not that hard to do this. You just have to go ahead and do it and try it, and then you'll be amazed and it will be so delicious. So let's get started. To start with, I have 1 cup of warm water and I am adding 3 tablespoons of raw sugar to that. Use whatever sweetener you have on hand. And then to that, I am adding 2 1/4 teaspoons of dry active yeast. This would be the same amount that you would get in a yeast packet. And then I'm just going to stir that mixture up and push that off to the side to go ahead and let that activate. The sugar is going to help feed the yeast and activate that, as well as giving us some flavor. Now in the bowl of my stand mixer here, I am going to add 3 cups of flour, just all purpose, and then 1 teaspoon of salt. And then I just like to give that a quick little mix. Now that my yeast mixture is activated, I'm adding 4 tablespoons of melted butter and 2 tablespoons of milk. And I'm just going to go ahead and pour that in with my flour and salt, and then go ahead and get the mixer started to combine all of that. Right here you see how this is a little bit gloopy. It's not really formed a full ball or anything like that. That is proof that we definitely need some more flour in here, and that's perfectly fine. Add a little bit of flour, go ahead and give it another run, and if it still is not really making a cohesive dough, just keep adding flour until you get that good cohesive dough. You want the walls of your stand mixer to essentially be clean, and with a stand mixer it's going to be kind of more like a funnel of dough than a ball of dough per se, but that is what you want. And now here I went ahead and stopped my mixer and gave this a test. And what I determined after feeling the dough, you can see a little bit of it stuck to my fingers. I don't want this dough to be sticky. It shouldn't be sticky. So we added a little bit more flour there, probably about 1/4 cup. Let it go a little bit, and then I felt it again, and once it's not sticking to my fingers, it doesn't feel sticky to the touch, then we're good to go. So now we want to let this rise. We want it doubled in size from where it is now. For me, I put this into a lightly oiled Instant Pot liner, and then I'll put this in my Instant Pot on the yogurt setting for about half an hour. Of course, you can just leave this on the counter too, or in a warm place in your kitchen. Just put it in a lightly oiled bowl, cover it over with a clean kitchen towel, and let it sit until it is doubled in size. Once we have our doubled dough here, we're just gonna plop that out onto the counter and go ahead and cut it how we need to for whatever we're using it for. So you can use this as a pretzel bread loaf if you want to just do like a whole loaf of bread, or you can do what I'm doing here and cut it in half, and then cut it in half again, and then cut those in half as well. So I end up with about 8 pretzel buns when I do it this way. But you can use this dough to make soft pretzels with, so you could cut them smaller and roll out little pretzel rods, or really whatever you want to do with it. That's what's so fun about this recipe. So here you see me just kind of forming these into like bun shapes. You can do this however you prefer to. I just kind of like to mush it out into a little bit of a round and then kind of pull that surface over and kind of tuck it under. And after I have all of these rolled into my bun shapes, I'm just going to cover them with a clean kitchen towel while my water bath gets ready. Now this is the part that seems intimidating, but we're almost done. So we are going to take a large pot of boiling water and gradually add in half a cup of baking soda. This is the step that gives us that nice pretzel crust on the outside, so it is necessary. You just want to add your baking soda very gradually so that it doesn't bubble up and come out onto your stove top. Once all the bubbles have died down, we're going to go ahead and put in our buns. Just put in as many as will comfortably fit into the pot that you're using. I can do about 3 in mine. And you are going to let these cook on each side for about 60 seconds. So after they have sat in that water for 60 seconds, you're going to just go ahead and turn them over and let them sit another 60 seconds. You'll also want to have your oven preheating to 400 degrees. And once our buns have cooked for 60 seconds on each side, we want to just go ahead and transfer those onto our baking sheet lined with either parchment paper or a silicone mat. You can do it unlined, but it tends to stick to the bottom of the pan and it's just not very nice. So I do recommend lining it with something. And then take a lame or a sharp knife and just cut that X into the top of it, and then go ahead and put your salt on it at this point. You want to use the coarsest salt that you have available. I like to use a special sea salt for this, but use whatever you want. Just if you are using table salt, be very sparing on it. Go ahead and bake those for about 20 to 30 minutes, and this is what you will end up with.